First here at 5 o'clock, whiplash out of Washington, D.C. 48 hours after the Trump administration announced a federal funding freeze. Tonight, it is still unclear if that plan is in place. Thanks for joining us. I'm Shay McAllister.
And I'm Doug Proffitt. So we're jumping into the confusion here at 5. The order was sought to pause the potential trillions of dollars in loans, federal grants, and financial assistance. The broad directive causing confusion throughout massive federal programs like Medicaid. And a federal judge had temporarily delayed that freeze yesterday after dozens of states quickly filed a lawsuit against it. The White House said the order was needed to make sure programs don't run counter to President Donald Trump's agenda. Late today, though, the White House rescinded that memo related to the freeze, which is causing the confusion tonight. However, it says it's still moving forward with the freeze, providing clarity just hours earlier.
This is a temporary pause on federal funding to ensure that tax dollars are not funding things that this president has signed out of law. So the Green New Deal, DEI, etc. As I said repeatedly yesterday, and I would like to double down on the fact that Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, which I'd like to be clear on that today, welfare benefits, individual assistance, food stamps, etc. will not be impacted.
Hours later, the White House press secretary Caroline Leavitt there reiterating on X that the rescission is only on the memo. The president's executive order remains in full force and effect. Well, locally, agencies who rely on that federal money tell us they are still trying to figure it all out, how or if they were part of this order.
Gabriel Gonzalez, photojournalist Jessica Farley talked to a couple of different nonprofits today. And Gabe, you're actually talking to one of those nonprofits when the memo was rescinded. What was that like?
Yeah, that was about 1 o'clock this afternoon. And since that interview, of course, things have changed again. Right now, nonprofit leaders tell me all they understand is nothing is guaranteed. Nonprofits like Louisville Urban League and the Healing Place, both of those would lose funding for programs that impact hundreds of people who rely on them. President Trump's temporary pause on certain federal grants and loans was blocked by a judge hours after it was announced. But as I was speaking with the president of the Healing Place, word came that even caused more confusion. The White House says despite rescinding the memo, they are still moving forward with the freeze. Lyndon Pryor with the Urban League says he's prepared for whatever comes next.
Some things that might be subject to a type of ordinance like this, and then begin to prepare around what we do, how we fight, but also how we protect those folks who, first and foremost, who work here, but also the people who are impacted by the services that funding is connected to.
Pryor says they received $2 million from the federal government, which helped fund their 55 and older program. Both presidents of the Urban League and the Healing Place are hoping they can keep their funding so they can continue making a difference in the community and the people that they serve. You can read more on what they have to say to President Trump on our website, WHAS11.com.
All right, Gabriel, thank you very much. Taking a closer look now, the Kentucky Housing Corporation is clarifying what they know about the directive. Right now, the federal housing mortgage insurance program remains untouched. So does Section 8 project and tenant rental assistance. As for their other programs, the Housing Corporation says they're not sure if they can reimburse costs under any other federal programs.
It was unanimous. I'm happy. I cannot wait to have my daughter have her bus back in March.
And with that, the school buses are going to be rolling again, right back to some schools that lost service. JCPS late last night restored bus transportation to nearly 3,000 students after the school board's approval. It came after a lot of discussion. The district bounced back this school year after a transportation meltdown just the year before.
But not all routes have been restored. Our Ian Hardwick hears from a mother who has one daughter who got her bus back and another child who she'll still be driving to school.
There's a lot of us out there who are sacrificing everything, and I sacrificed my career.
Berkeley Collins gave up her 10-year job in the mortgage business, started her own cleaning company, and sold crocheted goods on the side just to keep her two daughters in their schools.
I really want them to have that same routine. Most of their friends try and stay in the staff that they know, the teachers that they know, the environments that they know, and I don't want them to rearrange their life. So I rearranged mine so they don't have to rearrange theirs.
The new JCPS bus plan got restarted because of the district's contract with 69 former TARC drivers. Having a bus stop back for just one daughter means Collins can have a full-time job again. What JCPS paid her to drive her own kids just wasn't enough.
No, and the stipend's only great for helping compensate for the gas, but it does not replace the salary that I'm missing out on.
But any family who prefers the stipend can choose that over a bus. With bus options restored for some 2,900 students, the district says it needs about 70 more drivers to bring back all routes for all students. That makes the new goal about 750 drivers.
It may not be me sitting in this chair when that happens, but I would recommend if we got to that number that we bring back that transportation.
With 26 drivers currently in training, Chief Operations Officer Rob Folk feels confident the workforce will grow, unlike years past.
Our number one factor last year for bus drivers leaving the district was length of route and the fact that they were driving all over the county.
Yep.
We fixed both of those things by moving schools to geographic regions, most of the compounds, and by shortening the routes and making them manageable.
The district expects some bus delays when the restored routes run again in mid-March. But Manual High student Love Eden believes she'll get the time back if the bus runs like it did before the cuts.
The bus actually brought me early to school, 30 minutes earlier to school than when I come now, which is really a great thing to have because there's time to study or just like get ready for the day.
But Colin's daughter,
She doesn't believe it's going to happen.
needs to see the bus pick her up to believe it.
So this was 3,000 students, but trying to get back to everybody gets their bus service back. How many drivers are needed for that?
80 more drivers are needed for that, Doug, and they've got 26 in the pipeline right now. Quick math, that's about 54 drivers still needed, and there are some bus driver hiring blitzes that are going to happen between now and when they reconsider adding those routes back June 17th.
All right, Ian, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ian. And we're following more local news for you here today from a Louisville courtroom. 2 people will officially spend years in a jail cell now for their roles in a 2021 murder.
I didn't know Cal. But I'm so sorry that I was involved in this and that they lost somebody truly special.
Kevin Thompson, and Dakisha West have each pleaded guilty to felony charges in the death of Kyle Elzy. Investigators say they shot and robbed him at a car wash in Linden of eastern Jefferson County. The car was found 24 days later in Alabama. Kyle's mother stood to speak during today's hearing.
Kyle's so full of love, and the whole world, if we could just show each other a little love, I think what gets us in trouble is fear. Let go of that fear and just show some love to your neighbor, to your stranger that you run into. Just show, it makes a huge amount of impact in the world. It's a rippling effect. Just take the time for another person, even if it's a stranger.
Thompson was sentenced to 36 years for killing Kyle Elzy. West was sentenced to 5 years for helping hide the evidence and dispose of the car.
I am announcing my decision to change my political party registration to independent.
And there you have it. Louisville Metro Councilwoman Paula McCraney will no longer serve on the council as a Democrat. The councilwoman of District 7 in East Louisville has stood left of the political aisle since being elected in 2018. But after announcing her change of party today, she responded to the possibility of concerns from constituents who voted for her because she was a Democrat.
If you spoke to any of my constituents who have worked with me and who have watched my work, they would say, well, if I didn't know her and just looking at how she operates and the decisions she's made, I couldn't tell if she was a Democrat or a Republican. She just makes good decisions.
Democrats still hold a slim majority on the council with 13 seats compared to the 12 Republicans. However, 14 votes are needed to pass legislation, including the city's budget. McCraney hopes her change will result in more collaboration across party lines with the ultimate goal of serving the community.
We've got up to 2 inches of rain on the possibility for Kentuckiana with a beautiful sky right now. it's so hard to believe that we're going to get a good drenching rain. One thing I've noticed there, Shay, as all of the snow has melted off, everything's looking really, really brown out there now. It is winter time.
Brown and muddy too, Sam, unfortunately. I know that that's not going to get better with that rain.
I know, guys. I've been watching the snow pile in our parking lot here at WHAS11. We'll see how long that pile of snow is going to be lasting. But yeah, Mother Nature really warming us up quite a bit, especially compared to last week. Current look at downtown Louisville from University of Louisville. And here's actually a look at our temperatures the past 20 hours. We didn't really fall off too much this morning, only falling to about 42 at the airport, a whopping 10 degrees above the freezing point. And today, striking a grand total of 56 actually at Ali International for our high temperature. A quick look out the door, still hanging on to some very warm readings as we get a head start to our evening planner. And take a look to the north. We have a couple of readings still in the mid to upper 40s. All in all, you can probably get away with just that jacket or the light sweatshirt out the door this evening. In fact, tonight, though, it's going to be pretty cold. So if you're found out and about later on, we're actually going to be noticing freezing temperatures with that winter coat necessary. Tomorrow, 52 degrees into the afternoon, but it'll be coming with a price to be paid. There's going to be in the form of rain moving through by this time tomorrow. I'll be talking about if it's going to be impacting our Friday in a few more minutes.